excuse me, isn't on the card, so I was following the card very carefully, so I apologize for that. So again, my name is Tracy, and I'm honored today to get to introduce Ron Nehls. I met him just before this morning, and I'm really excited to hear what he has to say about hypnosis and the thoughts he's going to share with us today. So thank you for being here, Ron.
Awesome to be here today. Welcome everybody to Super Bowl Sunday. Get some worshiping in the morning.
Hey Ron.
Be better. Nice day out today.
Ron, you need to turn on your mic.
Can you turn on your mic?
He doesn't need him. He doesn't really.
I'm part deaf anyway on my left ear, so I yell a lot. So if I'm too loud, just let me know. Okay, anyway, I want you to look at the person on the left of you. And I want you to give them a high five and say, you are an awesome spiritual being this morning. Awesome. Did that give you a little more energy? Yeah, I love that. Awesome. So I want you to look at the person to the right of you, and I want to say, I have big things to do today. We're too big to be thinking small out there. Absolutely. I want to give you a little introduction about me a little bit. I don't want to talk about me much, but at least you need to know a little bit about me. And some of you we've met before in the past, or maybe a lofty talk with Rob. That was a great meeting, Rob, there. And anyway, I'm Ron Nehls of Peak Hypnosis. I'm the founder of Peak Hypnosis and Coaching. And I'm also a Reiki master and a certified healing practitioner. Wow. And I started out due to a stroke. And artery went, and all of a sudden when I started walking in my kitchen, and all of a sudden the spirit started coming through me when I went to the dishwasher, of all places, and I started to cry. And I wanted to know more. And I kept digging. I started asking about the same question Shirley MacLaine did years ago in her book, in her movie. In fact, it was kind of like, for me, reliving it. And the whole thing is I want to thank some mentors out there that helped me on this path that's still growing, and that is Cindy Hudson. I know some of you know Cindy out there. I spent 2.5 years with Cindy, and it was always my safest place to go. And I wanted to be a Reiki master, and Lynn Evans, she says, Ron, go see her. I was doing Reiki at home, but not at the full effect. You need to be in tune. They said, Cindy Hudson. Boy, before I got home, all of a sudden here was Cindy Hudson, and this was late at night, about 10 o'clock, and she's on email, and Lynn's already got the messages, and I'm ready to roll. But I didn't stop there. Then she says, how about spending 2 years with me? I said, I'm in. And at that time I was struggling financially. But education for me was I always found a way to get the money. And I went through her course. And I learned so much. And in fact, after the first year, I became her TA. And got to redo the course basically, and I ended up doing a lot of the exercises for her and learning her process of the teaching. And she always looked at me and she says, Ron, I know what you really should be. She says, a spiritual coach. And I go, okay, well, how is this all going to work? But that was what she told me. Well, I knew she was a hypnotherapist. But, again, I'm going, what is a hypnotherapist? I keep asking and I'm not getting any answers. I kind of look it up in the book, but I'm still not getting answers. Just close to when Cindy and I were done, where we weren't going to be able to go any farther, I met a wonderful lady that's no longer here on the physical plane, I like to call, but she's the veil here. And that is the late Barbara Wright, which we know her as Bobby. And I met her down at the Bodhi Center, and we connected. She says, would you like to come to my house? I said, absolutely I would. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. She says, I'm a hypnotherapist. And we started talking about channeling. When I went to Barbara's, first thing she had her book signed for me. You're more than you think you are. Great book, great book. But books always kind of seem to find me anyway when I was ready, or I bought a book and the book was gone. And so at this point, I developed learning how to channel under hypnosis. We worked for 2 years. I have a book like that. And of course, Course of Miracles, I didn't know till Eileen, I believe Washington, Rob, you were there at that meeting, and she says, Course of Miracles, she says, you're Ron 7. And I go, what's Ron 7? And it dawned on me, hit me in the forehead, that Bobby took one of my channeling messages that we did in a session, in an early session. It was on fear. And I didn't know that she shared that with that group. Her and I, we worked for 2.5 years, and it was one of the wonderful 2.5 years. I didn't know that she worked with 22 people that channeled, and I was her last, and I was honored at that. I also met Josie Hallman, and I was mentored with Josie. And I know you know who Josie is, some of you. And she worked with Al Ward, the oldest hypnotherapist in the world. And she worked with him 35 years, but she is a wonderful hypnotherapist and a great teacher. And she works with the emotional cleaning. It's called emotional clearing, I want to say, but I like to say cleaning. Cleaning out. Then I was never able to be really certified, but I was doing hypnosis for years. I was doing it as an athlete. I was doing it when I was working with people in the automotive industry and didn't even know what I was doing. Didn't really realize, thinking back, how I was at my best. How did I react? How did I feel? How was I when I was at my worst? That's what hypnosis does. Brings you back to the happy time when you were at your best, but also realize how you felt. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also was under Erica Flint. She's one of the best hypnotists out there in the world today. She teaches all over. And that's where I finished my certification, because all these wonderful ladies were not able to certify me. And when Barbara passed away, I said, I'm going. I was accepted 2 years before, but I had to go back through the whole routine again to get accepted. It wasn't about the money, but I did have the money at that time to do it. Timing was right, and I did that. And it was some of the best 2 weeks of being with some of the most wonderful people from all over the world, and it was 24/7 for 2 weeks. There was no breaks. I mean, I had 3 hours of sleep every night. It was studying. It was doing the work. It was very intense. But I want to talk about the topic also of changing your thoughts through hypnosis. And this is going to be real quick. But how we talk to ourselves. I find so much out there. Language is a big key. When I hold my hands out here, that means I'm very open. Sometimes a lot of people, they come in and they're like this, and they're very closed. A lot of us do that. Put your arms out. Let the energy come in. We start telling ourselves stories at times. I failed. No, you didn't fail. You didn't have enough information.
That's right.
I am enough. Every one of us are enough. Men come in to work with me. It's very hard. Their dads tell them, shake it off long ways from the heart when they get hit with a baseball. Men do not cry. One of the biggest questions when I ask them when they come in, I ask them, do you love yourself? And I see tears run down a man's eyes. He says, no, I don't. I've never thought about it. But my relationship is, my wife isn't good. But it starts with yourself. Start telling yourself you love yourself. You are enough. I believe in myself. I coached tennis the last 2 years at my old high school, and I coached years and years ago. Played semi-professional. And the little girls, I elected to work with girls. Because I loved the girls. I just related they needed someone to work, and I was the only man's coach out there in the Big Nine. But it just worked out really good because I seem to work with women a lot. I was raised more by, I have a mom and dad, but I'm raised more like my mother. So I guess she was at home more, I spent more time. That's why, all these mentors of mine, they're all women. And I'm really embracing it. It's not that I'm a man hater or anything, because I have my buddies to hang out with. But the girls would ask, how do you do this, Ron? How do you play like this? How do you rise to the occasion? I looked at them and I said, I believe in myself. Coming up here speaking is not easy. That's why I chose this, because I have to get uncomfortable. Well, I don't have to. I chose to be uncomfortable. See how that changed? If we're getting uncomfortable, that's because we're ready for change. Getting uncomfortable is that. If you're not healthy right now, if you have a knee injury or you're having a heart issue, any of these things, tell yourself right now, I am healthy right now.
I am healthy right now.
I am healthy right now. Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely. I am worthy. But these are the stories. Start telling yourself, not just in the morning. I have affirmations. I change them. I go into my bathroom and open up where my deodorant is and my toothpaste. They're taped on there. And they change. But during the day, come in here. I told myself I'm a great speaker. I believe in myself. This is going to be an awesome day today. Because we are too small. We're too big to be thinking small. And we're all thinking too small. We have great things to do here. We came on this planet to do great things. Not to suffer.
Not to suffer.
Not to be miserable.
Not to be miserable.
But this is supposed to be an enjoyable experience here.
This is supposed to be.
It's your movie. It's your movie. You are the owner of the movie, you're the producer of the movie, and you're the star actor. We're here as a big play.
There's a big play.
If somebody in there that's bringing you down and you can't bring them up, you may have to excuse them and wish them well. Pray for them. But you can change the actors and the actresses. You can change the way you are if you want to be something else or you want a different job. Don't worry about how much the pay is.
Yes.
Be a service to people. First thing, be a service. But also, the income will flow. If you have that much passion in what you do, the universe will bring.
That's right.
All feelings are good. And that's the whole thing. I mean, even anger is good. It's how we use the anger. If you watch a tennis player that's angry, and all of a sudden he starts winning, he changes that into a positive thing. Sometimes we lose a job and we're down and out about it. Forget that. Because here's the deal. The universe is going to bring you a bigger door. You're going to walk into a bigger door. But also that anger could be the motivation for you to quit that job. Or stop doing something that you're not happy doing. The motivation is there. But change your emotions, your thoughts, and from something that is not serving you into something that will serve you. And when you do that, everybody else around you, all of a sudden, you change them. It's how we change is how others change. Make sense? I want to talk a little bit about how the brain works. And the deal is that the subconscious brain, basically we have a conscious brain first, and we hold 7 to 9 things. The 7 to 9 things is that if something else comes in, we have to dump that one thing that's in there out of the 7 to 9. That goes into what we call the critical factor. The critical factor is that if it's familiar, comfortable, it'll go in our subconscious. So if we're dealing with an emotion that our subconscious is doing a lot of negative things or a lot of sad feelings or anything like that, it'll be more acceptable going in. It's like a computer. Google finds us all the time. If we look up something Rob and I were talking about, all of a sudden we get on our Facebook or anything, and all of a sudden, here it is. They're trying to sell us that product. We are an IBM computer back here. But when we start taking in the positive things, more and more, they'll start doing it. But those affirmations, that starts reprogramming your brain. Doing it all the time. Listen to a hypnosis tape at night. Is it hypnosis? Is it meditation? I don't know. But the deal is, it's repetition after repetition after repetition. The subconscious mind holds everything that we've ever done.
That's right.
Everything.
Everything.
Hypnosis is where we can go back and find those memories, those events, but we don't relive them. We observe them. We see them as a play. The superconscious mind is, our body just has our own reactions. We just do what we do. We don't know how we breathe, except when we tell ourselves how to breathe, but our heart just automatically does it. But also it works with higher self and higher power.
And higher power.
I'd like to talk about some of the methods that I work with real quick in hypnosis. One is that I get them in a relaxed state. Basically, you take a nice deep breath in, let that breath out. Your eyes will be focused as far as you can up on the ceiling. You find a spot. And the more you blink, the more your eyes get tired, the more you're going into hypnosis. Then I ask you to close your eyes, glued down, sealed shut, locked tight. Then I ask you to put your head down and like you're looking downstairs. And as you start walking down the first step, you feel the step, you hear the step. And you take that step down and you go deeper, deeper, deeper. But these are some of the methods. It's like walking into your garden. All these different things bring you in hypnosis. You can close your eyes and put yourself in hypnosis for pain. I had stem cell and bone marrow taken out. And the whole nice thing was my doctor knew what I was doing. It was a little uncomfortable, but not painful. Putting an 18 gauge needle in the right knee. It's not comfortable. But I did well with it. I've learned to work with pain with hypnosis. But the advantages of working with hypnosis is self-esteem, fears, phobias, pain, which I've had a gentleman that walked out of my place. He couldn't already walk in. He had a cane, and when he got done with the session, he walked out like a young gentleman, jumped in his car and drove home, and then I had to call him and say, "Hey sir, you forgot your cane." "Oh gosh, I did, didn't I?" It's amazing how our mind works. Sports works very well for me. Every top professional athlete uses hypnosis. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, the list goes on and on. Jimmy Connors, he was my favorite player, still is. He used sports hypnosis all those years. Actors do. Business improvement, addictions, feelings and emotions that happened in our childhood, and we didn't even understand it. If I told you back there to give her a secret, and she gives like we did back as kids, what would happen when it got over the end? The story changed, didn't it? That's what happens to us in childhood. Sometimes what has happened to us really wasn't that bad, but then it started festering, and the story got bigger and bigger and bigger. That's where hypnosis comes back to. But hypnosis, what happens is we turn around, and the first time they come in, a lot of times I do scripts. High, low road, low road. Take them down low road first. If there's smoking or drug addiction, depression, whatever. Now go to 1 year. How are you doing? And we go to 5 years, 10 years, 15. Then I bring them all the way back up to the fork in the road again. Then we take the high road. See yourself in 1 year, not smoking, not drinking. Your anxiety's better. 5 years, 10, 15. But that's one method. And I always record my sessions. But I also make them a recording that they can go home. Biggest thing is when we come here, we feel really good spiritually, right? But some of us, when we leave here, what do? We don't do anything. Some of us don't. Some of us do. But we come back on Sunday to feel good again. Same way with hypnosis. They go home, they do the practices, listen to the tapes. My clients have great success. I've got a young man right now that confidence-wise and how his dad treated him, and he is a successful athletic trainer. And he's bringing me in to help his clients so they're not obese, eating bad food, doing a coaching package now that I suggested. And he's going to make a big difference and an impact out there that is going to be huge. But he came in and we worked through a lot of his childhood issues because his dad told him he wasn't enough and he had to have a 9-to-5 job. It's not a 9-to-5 job. It's what he wants to do. But he was living someone else's dream. Afraid to step out of the box. Every time he stepped out of the box, he couldn't do it. But he told me a couple weeks ago, he says, "Ron, I was kind of falling off a little bit." And he said, "You know what I did? I got your MP3 out." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'm confident and I got 7 new clients, Ron." I said, "Good for you, Matt." But you did a little reinforcement. Every day, talking about feelings, emotions, and all that. But the next one is I do age regression. Go back to the recent time that you've had this issue or this emotion. And then we go back to the time it first started. Then I bring the adult person in because that person may have been 5 years old. I call him 5. I don't call him 5-year-old. I don't call him Johnny. I bring the adult person in to talk to 5. How you would handle the situation now that you're wiser and you're older. I'm a facilitator. I'm not here to change your mind. There is no mind-changing thing here. It's just you're changing your thoughts, you're changing your emotions. And that is what hypnosis is doing. So we work through that. That's one way. But forgiveness is a big thing. And you all know that. But one session is forgiveness of others. Forgiveness of others is not for the person that did you wrong. Forgiveness is for yourself, and it's an everyday thing. That person does not get any of it. If they're dead, they go on to wherever they're going. If they're still living, that's fine, but they get none of it. But the next one is forgiveness of yourself. Forgiveness of yourself is the mistake-making me. And we all have the mistake-making me, but we're so hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves up so bad. I have done it myself. Every one of us have done it. But to have that forgiveness. Forgiveness works really great. It's a great way to clear up the emotions. Another one, I work with Julie Preston and also Roy Hunter, which he's the godfather. He lives in the state of Washington. It's parts therapy. And parts therapy, I love that because one gentleman, he was overeating, and there was a part of him that was making him eat because he wasn't giving himself any pleasure. He wasn't taking any time. He was just working, so his pleasure was to eat. So we made a deal. The deal was that he would go play video games for 1 hour a week and go play a round of golf on Sunday with his friends. All of a sudden, the gentleman is not overeating because he stayed true to the agreement that he made with the other part of him to give himself some pleasure. The gentleman started spending more time with his family. Started being a better husband. Spiritual side is how I started in on this. Past lives. Past lives are great. I've had a past life with this elbow, and I was with a woman that wasn't very nice to me, and I tore all the bicep and forcep tendons off my elbow. Found out through Cindy Hudson doing a past life that I was shot in a duel. And I had a big hole in my elbow in a previous life, and it was over a woman that wasn't very nice, so that's not going to happen again. I'm aware of that. But in between lives, souls, we're able to reach that at times. Sometimes people just go into that. And there's lots of great books about that. And all the messages are the same. Pretty much everybody comes and does this. It seems like the messages, the experiences going to soul school and coming here and learning and everything is all pretty much really cool. The last one was channeling. And the people that were on Shirley MacLaine's, those were actual channels that did it. But a lot of hypnosis done channeling, they go together. Because we're working with higher self, higher others. I don't know who I channel with. I may be channeling with various peoples. I mean, I got a friend that channels with a guy called Ben Yu. I can't even find the name in the computer. I've tried it every different way you can. Julie Preston, she has Bishop. I work with Bishop. Bishop helps me quite a bit in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's not right away, and all of a sudden 6 months down the road, I get this now. I'm putting together a package, and it's got different modalities. He's been talking about modalities, and I'm going, yeah, we're talking about emotions here. Wow, that just hit me like a freight train. But also you're able to do self-hypnosis yourselves. Self-hypnosis is every day, like I was talking about pain. I was doing a little self-hypnosis before I came here. But I teach how to do that. Yes? Okay, thank you. I teach that. And that's something if you have any questions on or anything like that, I'd be glad to answer any of those anytime. But also with 7 paths that we do them instead of meditation, which is very hard. I can do 1 or 2 minutes of it. I can do an hour now. But we also have recognitions. And Rob saw me demonstrate. And I'll just give you kind of a little taste of this. I'm going to use the word spirit today. Spirit renews my life mentally, physically, and emotionally. Spirit made me always lovable just as I am. We are lovable just as we are, but we're not telling ourselves that story sometimes. Spirit knows there's nothing wrong with me, and there never was. No, there's nothing wrong with any of you. But you think there is. But learn and live and grow here. As Spirit forgives, I forgive even myself. But let me tell you something. When I came home, after I learned how to do self-hypnosis, learned to teach this, I came home and I started crying in my sofa. I thought, wow, that hit me pretty good. Hit me like a freight train hit me. The last one is, Spirit gave me free will and the power to. What is your power to? Is it to be a better husband, a better friend? Spiritual? You name it. That's your power too. Be a great hypnotist, be a great speaker, anything. But anyway, that's a session that I'll do group or I'll do individual, and it's something you can do for the rest of your life. But anyway, what I want to do is I want to thank everybody for having me up here today. It's been a great experience for me. Yes, thank you. And I'd love to come here because it's really a lot of fun, a lot of great energy in here. And we're going to have the Wellness Fair coming on the 14th. It's going to be from 10 to 4. And I'll be speaking there, and I'll do some nice exercises, and we'll have a lot of fun and a little more in depth. But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody today, and let's have an awesome Sunday.